Hashrate is sponsored by Crucible Wallet, the wallet for BitTensor. The Crucible Wallet is built by the founding engineers of BitTensor. Crucible Wallet is the only TAO native wallet with ledger integration, and it now includes profit and loss tracking and clear transaction history. Crucible Wallet also introduces the Smart Allocator. Now, the Smart Allocator is a tool. If you don't know which subnets to invest in, the Smart Allocator will pick them for you. So when you stake your TAO in root on BitTensor, it earns TAO rewards. It earns more TAO for the stake TAO on root. The wallet can automatically take that earned TAO and reinvest it for you automatically into subnets that it chooses based on criteria that you set up ahead of time. Download the Crucible Wallet today. The link is in the show notes down below. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashrate. My guest today is Akshat from Dippy Subnet 11. Hello, Akshat. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. This is your second appearance on Hashrate, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So for the folks who don't know you, because you do something very exciting, and I think it's really great. So Dippy is one of the visual and experiential front doors to BitTensor. Like a lot of BitTensor things you can't really experience, right? But this one you can. So why don't you tell the people first what it is you do?
Yeah, for sure. I started Dippy with my co-founder Angad, and we're essentially focused on letting users come online, chat with AI characters, go on adventures with them, and just create their own fantasy.
Yeah, no, it's super. Yeah, and you guys have a lot of users, right? So you have like 8.5 million users on iOS, I think.
Yeah, so across iOS, Android, and web, we have grown to about 9 million users now.
Holy crap.
Just the average daily active user spending almost an hour on the platform across 3 sessions. They're sending hundreds of messages a day.
That's insane. So basically it's sort of like, for those who don't know, like who haven't experienced this thing yet, if you're on X, like I am, I spend most of my time on X. So we see Elon like sort of nonstop tweeting about Valentine and Annie, his 2 AI characters, right? That they're basically just like cartoon characters, but you can talk to them and they talk back, right? It's a companion app. It's your friend, right? So it's an AI friend, right? And they have personalities and little quirks and things that they do. So it's very, very cool. And the kids love this stuff.
For sure. One fun fact there is like the company behind Valentine and the Grok companions. We actually approached them before they became Grok companions. It's a company called Animation Inc. Started by this really great guy, Sergey, who previously made some filters for Snapchat and Meta. And we tried convincing him to give the technology to Dippy, and eventually Elon scooped in, and from there on just became Grok companions.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been a blessing in disguise, right? Because Elon just introduced this class of product to an enormous number of people who probably did, like I didn't really know much about this until I saw Elon do it, right? Like I was like, oh, this is like a thing. Yeah. And then I talked to you, and I was like, oh wow, there's other people doing this, right? And at scale. And then you told me last time you were on the show, you had 8 million users. So you've grown 1 million users since the last time you've been on the show. So, and then you told me about Character AI, which got acquired by Google, right, for like $3 billion. So this class of product is enormous. So yeah, so you're in a good space. So Elon doing that might have done you a favor, weirdly, by growing the entire space exponentially faster than any one player could have done alone without Elon. So yeah.
For sure. I guess he definitely popularized it, normalized it.
Yeah.
And I guess most people know about it now.
Yeah, rising tide, whatever that is, right? A rising tide makes like a tree and gets at it, whatever that is. So yeah, so that's it. Sure. So okay, so I know you have a little presentation you want to give us and tell us a little bit about what Subnet 11 is up to now and where it's headed. So I'll let you get started with that.
For sure, yeah. Let me share my screen. Perfect. Can you see it?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is really what I would say Dippy and our subnet is focused on, which is what we like to internally call experiential intelligence. And what that means is basically building the tools to power these new form of experiences that are coming online, which are these interactive, two-way, user-driven storytelling. That's never happened before. Usually, consumers have been just passive consumers. Like you watch a movie, you listen to a song, you read a book, or even when you play games, there's like a predefined story that's set up for you. There's predefined missions. What's happening now is something that has never happened before, which is that users are taking these stories or games or worlds into whatever direction that they want. And really, the only limit is how they can express themselves through language. And so Dippy is like a subnet, as well as a company is focused on building the tooling to power these experiences or like these new forms of experiences. And we have internally sort of come to call that experiential intelligence.
Yeah, because in the old world, like the NPCs in games would be pre-programmed with like 10 phrases, if that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's very sort of like limited, and you keep bumping up. It feel very artificial and strange. Whereas because you have AI backing these things, the AI can be very creative in its response and very interactive and actually interact with the user, and the user can drive the game or the conversation in a completely new direction. There's none of this sort of NPC kind of rigidness like we used to experience.
Exactly. You sort of hit it on the nail. And yeah, I guess we've grown to about 8 million plus users. This number is closer to 9 now. And all of that has been pretty much organic. So the way people are discovering us is through word of mouth, through videos that we post on TikTok or Instagram, and some of them go viral. And just consumers telling each other about this new type of entertainment that you're now able to experience. Another interesting thing that we're really proud of, this is like a combination of, I guess, our model training efforts in the previous version of the Subnet 11, as well as our in-house AI efforts, is we've been able to improve our LLMs to the point where we now surpass our competitors in being able to deliver the most engaging experience. So Dippy by far has the highest engagement time in the category. And this is publicly verifiable data. Anyone can go on SEMrush, just like one of the big third-party sources. Just type in all the names and you will be able to see it for yourself. And this is something we were able to achieve after iterating or cycling through hundreds of different LLMs. And so if you see a character AI, which is worth $3 billion, there's Polybuzz, which a lot of people don't know about. It's like a multi-billion dollar Chinese giant backed by Sequoia.
Wow.
And Janitor AI, which I guess gets as much usage as Perplexity, but by far Dippy has the highest engagement time.
So so this means that somebody spends, like the average user spends 19.44 minutes interacting with one of your characters, and
in a session. Yeah.
In a session. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is what the app looks like. I guess you're familiar with it,
yes.
Probably at this point. But users typically spend their sessions chatting. We now have over 750K user-generated characters. This number is a bit outdated, but this is like a big misconception that I also wanted to clear up, which is a lot of people assume all these characters are made by just Dippy as like a company. But all the characters on the app are user-generated.
Wow, I actually didn't know that. Yeah. So unlike Elon's offering, where you get two characters, you get Annie and you get Valentine. That's it. You can't but if I come along, and in fact, in your universe, the entirety of the characters are not made by you. The users, basically describe the character that you want to generate, and the character gets generated. So, wow, okay, interesting.
Exactly. And so, if you don't find anything amongst these hundreds of thousands of characters, you can also create your own. And right now, it's like you define the backstory for the character. You can specify how you met the character in this fictional world. What are the laws of this world as well? And then you can create like an image for it. Starting this week, we're launching voices as well. So you can prompt your way to give the character a unique voice. And you'll be able to voice call it, just chat with it like you would with a friend. And it'll be really personalized because you are prompting how it sounds. And then you can just publish it on the platform.
So that blonde kid looks a little bit like Draco Malfoy.
It is.
Oh, is it? Okay, it's supposed to be Draco? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, it looks a lot like Draco Malfoy. Okay, very good.
Exactly.
And before we continue, so you have these 9 million-ish users. Are these free users? Are these paid users? Are you making money off them in any way?
Yeah, so we do offer a subscription plan, and we show ads as well. Not everyone's a paid user. Paid users are like a fraction. I would say about 1%. But largely, we're starting to monetize users through ads. And I would say that's true for any mass consumer product. I was looking at the stats for ChatGPT. In my bubble, I thought everyone had a ChatGPT Plus subscription because all my friends have it, all my coworkers have it. In reality, there's about 3% of people who have ever paid for ChatGPT. And so the bulk of the monetization, I guess, will always come through ads.
And how do the ads manifest in here? Is it does the character speak the ad, or is it sort of overlay on top of them? Like, how does that happen?
I think that's like the ideal end state where the character is recommending you a product like a friend within messages. Right now, we're just utilizing simple pop-up ads in like a traditional mobile app, like you would see on like a mobile game or something. And we don't show any ads on the website because we don't think there's any way to, I guess, insert ads without just ruining the whole chat experience.
So eventually, it'll be sort of baked into the conversation.
Exactly.
So like, Akshat, have you tried the new iPhone? The new iPhone has many new features that you would like.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Exactly, okay. Yeah. Or like if it knows that you're traveling somewhere and you really like cafes, it will be like, hey, you should definitely check this specific cafe out when you're in Venezuela or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And yeah, I guess BitTensor is powering all our growth. It's played like a really crucial role. So as of right now, when you send a message on the Dippy app, you're using Subnet 4 without even realizing. It works seamlessly. It works smoothly. 100% of our text inference is now powered by Targon.
Okay, let me stop you right there because I want to make sure people are clear on this, right? So when I talk to the character, I'm like, hello, character, how are you feeling about the weather today? When it processes that question and gives me an answer back or a response back, that is going to Subnet 4. Subnet 4, yes. Targon, is the thing that's generating the chat back, correct?
Exactly. Okay. They host the models for us. So we just hand them the models. They're really great. We've had like a wonderful working relationship with them. And so usually we just ask them to host a model. They do so really quickly, and we're on our way to continue experimenting and scaling.
And just to point out to people who don't know about this phenomenon of subnet stacking, where subnets use other subnets, Targon provides inference for 1/6, 1/7 the cost of kind of anyone else. That's my understanding of how the numbers work out. So that cost savings is passed along to you. So you can, if you were to go somewhere else, it would cost you it would cost you 6 or 7 times more, right? Is that correct?
It's not 6 to 7 times, but close, yeah.
Okay, so it's significant.
Yeah, it is significant. And we actually ended up churning away from Together AI, which is like a multi-billion-dollar inference centralized provider, to Targon. And this wasn't out of like us wanting to, use another subnet or like really be pro BitTensor. This was purely because it was a better product. So we ran like a pilot for 3 months where 50% of the traffic went to Targon, 50% went to Together AI. And in the end, it was pretty clear to us that Targon's much better than them. Not only in terms of like the pricing, but also like how quickly they move, the support that they were able to offer us, the amount of progress that they were able to make on the product side to suit our specific needs was just insane compared to, say, like a Together AI.
Wow. So a combination of things. It was definitely price, but also, the level of support you got, the level of customization you got from them. But they were just a better product. It wasn't like a BitTensor religious issue, where
Exactly.
you're oh, I'm going to use another subnet because BitTensor. It was like, no, it was just the practical choice. Yeah.
Exactly. And so ended up becoming pretty confident about Targon, and we signed like a 6-figure annual contract with them, and we continue to use them for the foreseeable future.
It's good to hear. I hear this a lot, by the way. A lot of people have the same opinion of Targon, so they're clearly doing something right.
Yeah, I'd say like the core, like one of their core strengths is they actually listen to their customers. We used them initially last year. We didn't have a great experience because of the privacy piece, which was that miners could see all the user generated data. And so instead of saying like, hey, maybe you're not like a customer that we want to serve, or they went back to the drawing board. They came up with the Targon execution environment, which sort of obfuscates everything so that the miner can't see anything. And they came back to us and were like, hey, let's do a pilot again. And they were pretty active on support. So yeah, I think there's a lot more that goes into building a successful B2B business than just building the infrastructure. And I think that's what Targon gets right.
Yeah, and just for people who didn't quite follow that, the trusted execution environment that Targon provides, because it is a decentralized inference serving engine, the worry for people like Akshat and also for enterprise is, hey, so I love the fact that I'm getting inference for 1/6 the cost or whatever it is, but I trust you, Targon. But what about all these miners? Like we don't know who these people are, right? And they're the people who are actually providing the inference. So I have to like shovel my data over to like 256 randoms from around the world. I don't like that because I don't want my data getting out. So what Targon did was they created this encrypted, trusted execution environment where the inference could be served up, while keeping the data completely private, and so that even the miners can't see it. And that leads to enterprise adoption. And people like Akshat coming along saying, yeah, you know what? I'm comfortable with this now.
Yeah, exactly. Some more stats about Dippy. We crossed 1 billion cumulative messages sent on the platform. So that's like a major milestone for us. And due to all of these model experiments, we've also managed to triple our engagement time since the start of the year.
Question on this. Earlier, you said that the average session time was roughly 20 minutes, but here it says an hour. So what am I missing?
So the users typically do 3 sessions a day of 20 minutes each. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So you have them for an hour a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap. Okay. That's amazing, dude.
Yep. And one more thing that I wanted to stress was SN11 is one of the biggest proponents of buybacks for our alpha token. So I think amongst the BitTensor ecosystem, I don't know what the current status is, but last time I checked, we're one of the biggest proponents of buybacks in the sense that we've done the most amount of buybacks. So I think at this point we've poured in 150K of our apps revenue back into buying the SN11 token. And I think this sort of becomes important, especially with the new TAO flow changes.
Yes.
Where you're constantly fighting for more TAO to enter the pool for survival. And we sort of paused in between, but we were really thinking through how to execute it going forward. And so now we do have a plan, which I can touch upon shortly.
Have you revealed like what percentage of your revenues are going to Subnet 11 buybacks?
Yeah. So early on, we were actually pouring in all the app revenue to buybacks. So in some months, we were pouring in like 50, 60K a month in buybacks. We realized that didn't make much sense. We were a model training subnet at the time. So we felt like, hey, the model's at the core of the subnet, so it makes sense to just give away all the revenue that we make from it. But obviously, we have other operational costs associated with the app. And so now the ideal structure that we've arrived at is Dippy Studio now is a media inference product. And right now, our spend on media inference is about $6,000 to $10,000 a month. Now, if we're using our own subnet or we're our own customers in a sense, we don't want to be freeloaders who are like using free compute that the miners bring to the table, get the TAO emissions, and then just run away with it. And so our ideal structure or our plan right now is to take that 10K that we were paying to centralized providers, shift our infrastructure for media inference entirely to Subnet 11, and then take that $10,000 and just buy back the Subnet Alpha. So in a way, we're still paying for media inference, but now the rewards are going back to the Subnet token holders.
Got it. So you're doing it honest economics. You're like,
Yeah.
look, Subnet 11 is they're like a department in our. They're not our whole company, so they don't get everything, but they are a department, and we pay them honestly based on what we're buying from that department. Honest accounting.
Exactly. Because we don't want to just extract our own subnet for free compute. We want to be the anchor customers to create trust and prove out that this technology works at scale, serving millions of users. But we're also happy to pay for it because we were paying anyways.
Yeah. And just to be clear, so you're using Subnet 4 for the chat. So that's the text inference.
Yeah.
This is the media inference. So this is like the character animations and stuff like that.
Exactly. To start with, it's image inference, but the plan is to expand that to voice, video, 3D models, image to video, and so many models. There's so many models out there on media inference that the users want, and we just couldn't find like an option on BitTensor right now to be able to do that.
Got it. Okay.
And so, as many of you are aware, we actually ended up shifting to this media inference model around September. And so what we've done over the past few months is re-architected the whole subnet, one. B, we have managed to bring down the cost for media inference down by 36% compared to traditional centralized providers. The way we've been able to do that is we have created this TensorRT engine. We have not created it, we've just utilized it. NVIDIA created this TensorRT engine. We've made like a wrapper for it so that we can take any model off the shelf, wrap it within that TensorRT, and deliver like a speed up that's substantially faster than just running it by off the shelf. And that's like a problem that we kept running into with a lot of current providers. When you're calling someone, if the latency is really high, the experience just falls apart. Because in a real conversation on a phone, you don't call your friend and then hear back 10 seconds later. You just churn. It's like an instant turn off. Or like video models are still large enough wherein if you generate a video and it takes 50 seconds, the average consumer is not going to wait for that. It's just unfeasible to ask them to wait 60 seconds to generate a video. And so the reason why we started using FAL after evaluating all these models or all these providers was they figured that out. They realized that media inference as like an industry needs really quick inference speeds at the lowest cost that people can get. I think the LLM industry figured that out much quicker with like lower sized models and like companies like Grok, for example, who have their custom chips to run inference really quickly. But that just didn't happen on the media side. FAL figured it out. They took the lion's share of market. I think they're one of the fastest B2B companies to hit $100 million in annual revenue, just because all the developers love them, all the product folks love them. And we just couldn't find an alternative to them on BitTensor. And so that's where the need to build Dippy Studio arose from. And so all we're focused on is not only just offering you media inference, but also doing so at like the fastest, cheapest cost possible.
Yeah, no, you bring up an interesting point. You're right. In the whole BitTensor universe, there isn't like, we do have like sort of decentralized versions of kind of everything, including Scale.ai with, Ready.ai and a lot of, textual inference. We didn't really get like a Midjourney, or a Grok Imagine. Like nobody really coughed that up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. And so here you are.
Yeah. So here we are. Recently, we scaled up the image inference for Dippy to be powered through SN11. This number is a bit outdated now. We scaled this to 5% as of yesterday. And so 5% of all image inference requests by Dippy users are now being powered by SN11. The plan is to take this to 100% over the coming weeks. And the reason is what we described. We want to create trust that this is working, this is real. You can generate images really quickly at incredibly low costs through SN11. And one of the incentives that we wanted to align on was like, we don't want the subnet and the main Dippy consumer app to be decoupled. Because if they're decoupled, our incentive to work on the subnet is a bit it's a bit muddy because we don't care if the subnet goes down because we are not using it ourselves. Like as long as our services are working, we won't be focused on that. And so we've coupled both together. So if the subnet goes down, the Dippy app will become dysfunctional, which would be catastrophic. And so we want to do right by ourselves, but also do right by all the customers. And so we're trying to couple them together so that it helps with just knowing what the pitfalls and problems with SN11 may be in the future, but also it keeps like a tight feedback loop so that if Dippy users start complaining that, hey, image gen is really slow, we need to figure something out on the SN11 side.
Yeah, and just to be clear about how the Dippy app uses this, it's on the creation, I would assume it's on the creation of a new character AI, right? I'm like, I want, is that when it is? Yeah, go ahead.
So that's the plan in a few weeks. Right now, it's powering the in-chat images. That's like a feature we rolled out a few months ago, but essentially when the character replies to you with a message, you can tap a button and just ask the character to visualize the scene or generate an image of what's happening. And so that's what's being powered through SN11 right now.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And this is sort of like the roadmap for where we're going. So as I mentioned, the plan right now is to scale so that all the images produced on Dippy are being powered by SN11. We then want to start onboarding external customers, sort of manually early on, still early days. We've had some inbound interest from other subnets wanting to use the model that we have right now, which is Flux Context Dev. And so we'll onboard them, get validation from them, get the feedback from them. And then we're building like a front end so that anyone can come online, sign up, get an API key, and just do all of this self-serve. So we don't have to be involved. So it becomes like a self-serve product like Fal or Replicate or Shoots even, for example. And then the other side of this is right now we're still like an image inference product, but that's not the end goal. The end goal is to have a variety of modalities on the platform. So like voice, 3D, audio, all the things that people want essentially besides text. And so we'll be adding like a wide breadth and depth in each modality that's possible as of right now.
Very interesting. Okay, so that's where this is headed. Is that eventually? So you'll have you'll obviously keep your Dippy character products and keep expanding that. But in addition to it, the Subnet 11, it will serve Dippy and be like sort of the core media inference engine for Dippy. But other products not related to Dippy at all, I mean, not even related to your other companies, can also buy services from Subnet 11, much like they buy services from Shoots or Targon right now, but for media generation. So it's sort of a Midjourney or Grok Imagine competitor. Would that characterize it correctly?
I mean, there's like a variety of use cases from like companies building presentations to kids creating like a school assignment. They need an image for that, or call centers using voice models. So the use cases are many, but you're right in the sense that anyone can come in and choose from like thousands of different models across many modalities for their own workflow or product.
Will there be a front end to this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So an end user will be able to come to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It won't be like an API, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Because I can tell you. So a little story time for Mark. So over Thanksgiving weekend, I had a little bit of time. So I used to be in rock bands when I was in college, and over COVID times, my old rock band and I got together and wrote a new album, and it's all like sort of classic rock style, new songs that we wrote, but in the style of the 70s and the 80s. And I'm sort of like a mediocre sound engineer. I did it all in Rock Band. So we put the album together. We put it out. It's on Spotify. We're called Planet Furious. The performance and the audio mixing is sort of mediocre. But I always felt like the songs were actually pretty good. So I learned about Suno recently. And so, which is a music AI. And I discovered that I could just upload the tracks from that album into Suno, and AI would reperform them, and the sound quality would be excellent, and the performance would be excellent, and it just it shined everything up like to an extreme degree. I then took one of those songs, so we released a new version of the album on Spotify, also under Planet Furious, if you're curious. But on top of that, I made a music video using Grok Imagine for one of the songs, which I'll tag to the end of this episode if you're curious and you want to see it. And I just threw it up on my Twitter feed, totally for fun. The entire process, everything involved took me about 4 hours. So it was sort of, not that much time. So huge amount of fun, though, I will say, and huge amount of learning about how these things work.
Yeah, congrats. I'll check it out tonight.
Yep. So anyway, please continue.
Yeah, I guess another interesting thing is the roadmap for SN11 is sort of complementary to where Dippy is going as well. So we started off with users chatting via text messages, but we've really realized that users want more. Like they want to call these characters, they want to generate videos, images. But something that I am particularly excited about is the world models that are coming out. So I 1 second. I don't know what happened. I think the video isn't playing for some reason, but essentially, here it is. What's happened is Google sort of figured out how to create an entire world from a single prompt. So this is Genie 3 by DeepMind. And what it lets you do is you can prompt it to create a world that you can then start interacting with. So you could say something like, hey, I want to fly in a helicopter with my favorite Dippy character along the coast of Spain. And it'll spin up this world for you. You have the keyboard, you can fly around, jump through the hoops, get out of the helicopter, do whatever you want. Sort of like a real world simulation.
So it generates the world dynamically. So there is no end. It's not like, in old video games where, you can only interact with whatever the map that the game designers had created, right? But it was a bounded, very small world usually. Here, it's just nobody invented this ahead of time. It's just completely generated on the fly. So as I fly around in that helicopter, I could fly up the coast forever.
Exactly.
And keep generating more coastline for me.
And the barrier to entry is just you prompting on the keyboard. You don't know how to design a world. You don't need to know anything technical about this. You just have to visualize and express yourself. And there it is. And so personally really excited about that. This technology is really nascent and there's like a few players. Google's one of them. There's Odyssey ML, which is another. And then there's open source competitors popping up as well. But we see this as like a really instrumental, to play like a really instrumental part in the future while you're chatting with these characters. And the reason behind that is we're seeing this divergence from we started off with users wanting to chat with a single character, which was like, hey, I want to chat with like Batman or something. Now what they're doing is they're creating multi-character setups. So people are creating murder mysteries, or there's a really popular character right now on the front page called Treasure Hunt. And what it is you're in a mansion with 10 characters. You have to figure out which one of those 10 characters is the murderer. So sort of like a Knives Out mystery,
yes.
if you're imagining that. And that gets really more immersive when you can actually visualize it instead of just typing away. And so pretty excited about this. And we think this almost represents like a tectonic shift from how stories have always been told, which is, as I mentioned, this like passive consumption experience to now the user driving the plot wherever they want. And we think this will just get more and more immersive over time.
So 2 questions, because I have not experienced either one of these directly. But I know that, in the first case, as it's generating the coastline forever as I fly up the coastline. What if I turn around and go back? Does it like remember the old coastline? Is the world consistent, or does it like generate a new one? Like, how does that work?
So it remembers it as long as you're in a session. But if you turn off the app right now, there's no state management. It's like
Yeah.
early
Okay.
days.
So it goes away. That's what I figured. Okay, something like
Yeah.
that. And then with the murder mystery that you were just describing, does it generate a new murder mystery every time, like completely
Exactly.
dynamic? It does. Oh wow!
Exactly. So the AI decides who the murderer is. So it makes it infinitely replayable. Every time you play, there's like a separate plot, different personalities, and you're doing something different as well.
Wow. So infinite Agatha Christie.
Exactly.
Very impressive. Okay.
And so our sort of conviction is that the most sought after experiences in the future will not be watching a movie or reading these books. It will be like these dynamic worlds that evolve with you and you can drive the plot wherever you want. And we almost want, like, almost think of it as like a next generation YouTube or TikTok where we want Dippy to become the de facto platform where you create, play, and share these types of new experiences. Um, and the way to think about it is if you build like a really good AI video model, the primary platforms where it'll be distributed are still TikTok and YouTube because they own the modality for videos. If you build a really good, I don't know, like text model, it will be distributed through Medium, Substack, Twitter, and so on. But no one has captured the platform for these upcoming interactive experiences. And so we want Dippy to become the de facto place where if you're a creator, you come online, you have tools across many, many different modalities. You have the world models, you have the audio models, you can give your characters unique voices, personalities, backgrounds. And then there's consumers who are coming online to play these experiences. And right now, we're still early in the sense that you are playing this murder mystery alone. You're interacting with 10 characters, but you're the only person interacting with them. But in the future, maybe you're like, you want to invite your friend to solve the murder mystery with you, or you want to co-op with your partner as Batman and Robin and go into this character that we have called Arkham Asylum. And so that's where we think all of this is headed in the next few years.
So the process, so basically, instead of creating a video and uploading it to YouTube or TikTok, you will create a world, but the world will still be open ended. It'll be more like you'll create the rules for the world. So I'm going to
Yeah.
create murder mystery world.
Yeah.
So each time, so the computer decides the details, but basically there's always a mansion, there's always the butler, there's always
Exactly.
these 10 archetypes basically. And so you'll sort of set up the rules for the Agatha Christie mystery universe, or the
Exactly.
Star Wars universe or whatever, or the superhero universe. Yeah.
Yeah, but the people are experiencing multiple different versions of that in parallel. It sort of sort of like reminds me of like Marvel's multiverse where you have like 100 different realities and everyone's playing their own reality. So this may be proof that maybe we are in one. I don't know.
The multiverse is real. So okay, so far, like the primary way you experience these worlds and this experience, you imagine it at the moment on a mobile device, so it's handheld. Do you think that is the primary way to experience the people will experience this? Do you think it'll maybe move to desktop or Vision Pros or something like that? How do you see that?
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I'd say like desktop's probably the best experience, but obviously you want to serve mobile and tablets and AR glasses or Vision Pros as well. Roblox has done an incredible job here because they're building games, but they're available across mobile and desktop and all the platforms that people care about. And so this is, in some sense, not too different from games in control, at least, because you're still just using the joysticks to navigate the world. And so if Roblox has successfully captured that market on mobile with like hundreds of millions of users, then I don't see why we won't be able to do it on mobile as well. Obviously, best experienced on a large screen potentially, but you can still choose to use it on a mobile phone.
Roblox is the right comparable. I agree with you. So is that what's the usage on Roblox these days? Is it primarily mobile devices?
I think a majority of it is mobile devices, simply because consumers are there.
That's what they have. That's what the kids
Yeah.
have. Everybody,
Yeah.
the kids all have mobile devices. Like they're not. I noticed that the kids do seem to like the mobile devices over the desktop. The desktop is for the olds, like me. They're like,
Yeah, I
let's press
think
the old, I'm on my desktop. They're like, no. It's all this.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like a lot of Gen Z don't know how to navigate like a folder system. That's like it's like a novelty to them, and so yeah, I guess that's where we're headed.
Yeah, what's really funny is I think you have some relationship with I'm spacing the name of it, but it's a creative writing Wattpad, right? So
Yeah,
I think we discussed Wattpad the last time you were on the show, WATTPAD, and it's a really interesting little universe because the people who made Wattpad, it's basically like a Kindle on your phone. But the weird thing is that the books are not written by HarperCollins authors; they're written by other users, and other users are writing stories for other Wattpad users, and they've had like little stars rise up in it, right? And it's like 80-90% kind of Twilight supernatural romance things, right? Like that's and it's all tweens. That's kind of the audience. But here's the weird thing: a lot of them that when they're writing their stories, they actually write them on their mobile devices, right?
oh
Like
wow,
they're
I
not
didn't
like
know
going to
that.
the computer and typing. They're like
Yeah,
writing it right there on the Wattpad, right? And which blows my mind. I couldn't write a novel on a phone. Like I'd kill
for
somebody.
sure.
So
Yeah,
yeah, but not them.
yeah.
They prefer it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess it's just like a sign of the times. Mostly people are interacting on their mobile phones, so it becomes
yeah,
like the default medium.
yeah. So they're just used to it. It makes sense to them. So okay, what else you got?
Yeah, I guess not much else to share. One thing that I did want to stress was the moderation piece, because this has become like a sort of like a controversial issue on Twitter from some anons. And so we've done a lot of work on moderation and we take it really seriously as well. So since the beginning, Dippy has been 18 plus on the App Store and the Play Store. So you just can't download the app without being an adult. On web, we did used to offer the ability to send 5 messages without signing up and confirming your age. Uh, that was like a mistake and something we have rectified over time because it did give access to maybe potentially impressionable people to be able to access these this content that they shouldn't be exposed to. And so since then, web has become sign up only as well. So you have to sign up, verify your age, and only then you can see the content or even send a message. We've also partnered up with Clavata, which has become like the industry standard. It's used by Janitor, it's used by Character. They're really good at moderating the AI generated responses. And we also have community driven flagging now. So anyone can, if they see anything harmful or potentially harmful on the platform, they can just report it and it will be removed immediately.
Got it. Yeah, it makes sense. Moderation, you got to have moderation. So how does the age verification work? How does somebody prove that they're 18? They have to like have an ID? Is that kind of how it works?
Not an ID right now. I think some states are starting to mandate that. Right now, it's still self-selected, and then if you sign up with Google or Apple, you have to have like your account be above a certain age.
Got it. Okay. All right. What else? Anything?
No, I guess I have a lot of slides. There was this like a recent Harvard study which sort of proved that AI companions reduce loneliness on par with interactions with real people, which was a big, I guess, revelation for us as well as everyone in the industry. Obviously, we talk to our users, and some of them say really positive things, but you often wonder about the real impact of this technology. And so this came out really positive. The second thing that reduced loneliness was by the way, watching YouTube videos, which was really interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
um,
so this is really interesting. So they reduce it on par with interactions with real people, and I have a hard time imagining this because like it wouldn't for me. Like if I was talking to an AI companion, I would view it much like I used to view Eliza.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? So
yeah,
that was like an old '60s or '70s computer
hmm.
program, extremely bare bones, that would talk with you and would it effectively take whatever you said and repeat it back to you. Like if you said, "I went for a walk today," and went for a bike ride, it would say, "How did going on a bike ride or taking a walk make you feel?" Right? Like so,
Yeah,
that's all it was capable of. Right? It was like a
yeah.
doctor.
I
Um,
guess one
but
one caveat there is like the quality of responses has evolved a lot since then.
Sure. No,
Like,
it's
yeah,
ridiculously, yes. But even so, like under the hood, like I'm a software engineer by training, right? And I've
yeah,
experienced these things as they've grown up. So I know, like under the hood, that's not a person. That's just like a bunch of matrix calculations, that statistically, analyzing language to predict what the next word would be, almost like it's an autocomplete,
yeah,
right? Pretty much. It's an autocomplete Ouija board. That's all it is, right? It's not really a
yeah,
person. And so, but I think there's a lot of people who emotionally connect with them. They don't know how it works under the hood, so to them, it's just magic, right? It's sort of they just accept that it's sort of a real person, almost like 3PO, right? It's as much of a person as 3PO in their minds,
exactly.
right? And like I was with my girl and her mom over Thanksgiving, and her mom is elderly, and we got in a self driving car, and the self driving car talked to us. And at one point,
Yeah,
it said something, and she said "thank you" back to it, right? Like in her
yeah,
mind, it's like a 3PO, like it actually is there and knows her, right? And 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 so I think there are a lot of people like that. Is that your experience when you talk to your users that they view these things as
yeah.
real?
So most of our users don't even know what an LLM is. Like they just go blank when you tell them that, hey, we have upgraded the LLM. They're like, what's an LLM? And so a lot of people don't know about what's happening under the hood. Obviously, we do give like guidelines and like warnings that, hey, this is not a real person. This is still just AI generated text. But I think like the reason behind this is like oftentimes people are just looking to be heard or like trying to vent out things that they're feeling day to day.
Hmm.
And in that regard, I think AI is much more of like a willing listener, let's say, when you're trying to do that compared to real people. Like if you text your friend at 3 a.m., he might be sleeping or she might be sleeping. But if you text an AI, there's someone that you can talk to if you're going through something.
Yeah, no, I know. I heard a story once from. I did an app a long time ago called Guardian Circle, and it was basically like an emergency app used a
Mm-hmm.
lot by elderly folks. And one of the things I heard from people who operated call centers, like if there was an emergency, like you would immediately be put on with the call center. You're like the iPhone, I can't get up, like that little button thing. And what the call center people told me is that one of their big costs are old people just pushing the button and calling them because they're lonely and they just
Yeah.
it's not an emergency, they just want to talk to somebody, and that's a big problem for the cost centers because they're like
Yeah.
they allocate enough humans to answer the phones to handle emergencies, but if they're continually overwhelmed with old people just calling them because they're lonely, that's a massive cost problem for them. So this is like a big deal. It's not like a
Yeah,
little deal, it's
exactly.
a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like that's particularly why we're really excited about voice calling as well. We think it adds to that listening or speaking experience instead of, I guess, just texting this text bot, and it feels much more real.
Yeah, so the people want to be heard. And what is it? Tell me a little bit. You must have seen what sort of. You must have an idea of what um, who these people are and what they're saying to the chatbots. Is it like what is sort of the content of the conversation like? Like what are they talking about?
Yeah. So I guess like the majority of our user base are 18 to 24-year-old women. That's the bulk of the user base. And the conversations that they're having are usually similar to what you would see on like a Wattpad or Netflix shows. Or so there's characters like for fantasy romance or fan fiction or I guess like just therapeutic characters. Those sorts of conversations do really well. Romance is like a big use case. So things like Beauty and the Beast, or as you mentioned, like the Twilight trope, or like the mafia billionaires. That's usually like something that women like to engage with. On the other side are 18 to 24 year
When
old
you say
guys.
engage with, they're having like little romances with the characters. Is
Yeah,
that
I
what you're
mean,
saying?
we there's like a huge spectrum. It's like we have power users spending 6 hours a day chatting with like these romantic. They're creating romances, but it's like what's called like a slow burn. So it extends for like thousands of messages, and there's like romance sprinkled in between. Sort of like a K-pop, K drama, I guess is like
Yeah.
the right term. Um,
So
yeah,
so they're acting out. So basically, these women are acting out, role playing a slow burn romance. So there's a lot of
exactly.
content that's not really related to the romance directly. It's but they're like sort of dancing around it forever, right?
Exactly.
Which is part of the
And
romance.
and we also have this feature called personas. So oftentimes they're not even playing as themselves. They're
Oh,
playing as like someone else that they I don't know like
so you're a vampire and I'm a fairy princess, but I
exactly
haven't figured that out yet. Yeah. Okay.
exactly. Or like Bully is the most popular character of all time. It's
What
called
is bully?
it just bullies you. Like if you say hi, it says you should go away. We never understood that one, or like why it's popular, but it has 16 million chats. Uh,
Holy
just
crap!
people liking to be bullied. Um, that's
Wow.
that's like the most popular character. For guys, it's mostly pretty strange to be honest. It's them coming online to fight with their favorite anime characters. That's a big one. So like they'll pick Goku or like one of the Dragon Ball Z characters, and they'll choose their persona as someone more powerful, and then they'll just beat that character up. That's like a use case.
And when you mean when you say beat them up, like verbally?
Yeah, I guess so. We have this thing called if you just type normally, that's like verbal text, but you can also do actions if you write your text message within asterisks. So if you write like beats Goku to the ground and he falls below the earth or something, that's so the character will react accordingly in the next message.
Wow. And so they're beating up their character. So basically, it's like acting out the fantasy of beating up a character that actually probably scares you. Like
Yeah, or like
you're beating the
just
bully.
feeling powerful.
Yeah.
Um, so like you oftentimes guys will be like will play as like these billionaires with like mansions and helicopters. um,
Right. I forget because you're play acting. I forget. I keep forgetting that. Like I'm play acting. Also, I'm a character. Also, I'm not Mark Jeffrey. I'm billionaire Bruce Wayne, and I'm
exactly,
Batman secretly. Right. Like that's what I'm doing. So
exactly.
okay.
And then both genders engage with this new sort of evolution of the platform, which is like RPGs or murder mysteries or these treasure hunt characters, which are much more, I guess, immersive, more replayable, I would say, because you don't know where the plot's going. Yeah,
Fascinating. This is a fascinating little world.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to highlight before we end the show?
I think that's it. We're a team of 10 people trying to bring you this new generation of entertainment.
This is super fascinating. I'm sort of stunned and amazed by all of this. So yeah, it reminds me. My very first company was a thing called the Palace, which was an avatar chat thing in the '90s. It had like 10 million users at its peak. There were the basic idea. It was a metaverse, but like a very primitive 2D metaverse. It's the '90s, right? So we don't really have the
Mm-hmm.
3D tech yet. But the basically, and when you went into a room, there's just a GIF for a background, and then the characters were just little sprites or JPEGs on top of the background, and when they spoke, like little speech balloons would come out, right, and say whatever.
Is it
But it was
is that sort of sorry? Is that sort of similar to Club Penguin?
Yeah, Club Penguin was definitely an evolution. Those guys had definitely been watching the Palace. So yeah, they were like the next generation. So yeah, if you're familiar with
Oh,
Club
wow.
Penguin, that was the next iteration from Palace. And Palace itself was an iteration on something called Habitat that had been done in the 80s on Quantum Link, which was the early version of AOL, which was a Commodore 64 thing, so extremely primitive.
Wow.
But Palace was at least sort of, it would look somewhat modern, right? The Habitat did not look somewhat modern. If you look at screenshots, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's, I could still picture myself maybe playing that. Um, but it was an extremely social space. And there were lots of brands that had Palace servers, like South Park had one in its first
Wow.
season. Intel had one, like it was all over the map. Ralph Lauren had one for their, it was like a brand Palace. Um, but it reminded me, the vibe of it was very similar to what you're doing with Dippy, where you see the weird little humans come in and do what the weird little humans will do. And it's
Yeah.
always fascinating and surprising. They'll always do something different than what you expected. And, you'll understand half of it, and half of it you just won't understand, right? But you'll have to sort of dance with it. So what this feels, humans are very interesting creatures, and these digital online platforms bring out the most imagination possible, and it's extremely unpredictable and very fascinating. So I've personally very much enjoyed this interview. It's been
Yeah,
fascinating
likewise.
personally.
It's really fascinating. Like I feel like you've seen like the early version of this, or like created the early version of this, and you know how people behave, what challenges you face, and a lot of it is really messy. Like it is unpredictable what the users will come online and do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, sir. Well, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. Is there any what are the Twitter handles and the websites and anything you want to plug? Now's the time.
Yeah, I guess our Subnet's website is dippy.studio. So that's different from dippy.ai, which is our consumer facing app. And our X handle is dippy underscore AI. And yeah, thanks again for giving me this opportunity to be able to come on the pod and sort of have this conversation and spend some time.
Yeah, my pleasure, and we'll definitely have you back on for more. So thank you very much. All right, everybody. My name is Mark Jeffrey. This has been Hash Rate. We'll see you all next time.